Hey, what's up? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of English with Dane, a podcast designed to improve your English. As always, I'm your host, Dane, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at English with Dane. On today's episode, I thought it would be fun to feature our Today in History segment and go through a few events that happened on different July 10ths. I think our next show is going to be a movie review, by the way. Some of you wrote to me asking me to do another one, and it just so happens that tonight I'm going to the movies to watch a movie called Yesterday, about this musician who lives in a world where nobody remembers the Beatles and the opportunities that this situation presents for him. So I'll watch that and I'll do a movie review for the next episode. Okay, no more intros. Let's start the show. You are listening to the 28th episode of English with Dane. Hit it. All right, as I said, we're going to start with some history, so let's get into our Today in History segment, where we take a look back in time to learn about what happened on a day like today, but many years ago. Let's check in with history.com and read a few headlines. The first headline is about an event that took place or happened in the year 1985, so 34 years ago. It says, a bomb sinks the Rainbow Warrior, Greenpeace's flagship vessel. So we need to do a quick vocabulary check. The verb to sink means to go below the surface, to become submerged. A vessel is a ship or a large boat. And flagship means the best or most important thing owned or produced by a particular organization. Flagship is used in business contexts like, this is the company's flagship product. It's the best phone on the market, or something like that. So here's the headline again. A bomb sinks the Rainbow Warrior, Greenpeace's flagship vessel. It continues and says, in Auckland Harbour in New Zealand, Greenpeace's Rainbow Warrior sinks after French agents in diving gear plant a bomb on the hull of the vessel. The hull, spelled H-U-L-L, is the main body of the ship. One person, Dutch photographer Fernando Pereira, was killed. The Rainbow Warrior, which was the flagship of international conservation group Greenpeace, had been había estado preparándose for a protest voyage to a French nuclear test site in the South Pacific. 2 days after the incident, French authorities denied responsibility in the bombing and continued to do so even after New Zealand police arrested 2 French Secret Service agents in Auckland. Under pressure from New Zealand authorities, the French government formed an inquiry to investigate the incident and after several weeks concluded that the French agents were only spying on Greenpeace. Later in the year, however, a British newspaper uncovered, destapó, evidence of the French president's authorization of the bombing plan, and this led to several top-level resignations in the cabinet and an admission by French Prime Minister that the agents had sunk the vessel under orders. So they denied it at first, but ended up confessing. Terminaron confesando. I found a clip of one of the Navy divers, by the way, apologizing for his participation in the event. Here it is.
A retired French secret agent has apologized for planting explosives in a state-sponsored terror attack that sank the Greenpeace ship Rainbow Warrior in New Zealand in 1985. Jean-Luc Kister said he and his colleagues never meant to kill anybody.
I would like to take this opportunity to express my deepest regrets and apologizes. You need to know that in France, the president is the chief of the armies. That could have been a Watergate, a French Watergate.
Okay, here's another headline. This one is from the year 1940, and the headline reads, "The Battle of Britain begins. On this day in 1940, the Germans begin the first in a long series of bombing raids against Great Britain, as the Battle of Britain, which will last 3.5 months, begins. After the occupation of France by Germany, Britain knew it was only a matter of time before the Axis power turned its sights across the Channel." To turn your sights means to shift or redirect your focus, okay? Then it says, and on July 10th, 120 German bombers and fighters struck a British shipping convoy in the Channel, while 70 more bombers attacked installations in South Wales. Although, a pesar de que Britain had far fewer fighters than the Germans, they had a few advantages, un par de ventajas, such as an effective radar system, which made surprise attacks by the Germans unlikely. Britain also produced superior quality aircraft. Its Spitfires, that's the name of the plane, could turn faster than Germany's planes, making it easier to escape and maneuver. The British also had planes with bigger engines, while the Germans' single-engine fighters had limited flight radius. Then there's an extra little part about the Battle of Britain that says, "Did you know the battle received its name from a speech Winston Churchill delivered to the British House of Commons on June 18, 1940, in which he stated, en el cual dijo, 'The Battle of France is over. I expect the Battle of Britain is about to begin.'" Okay, we have one more headline. For this one, we go back to the year 2018, so last year, and the headline reads, "Last of Thai soccer team rescued from cave." On this day, in a search and rescue effort that captured the world's attention for more than 2 weeks, the last of the 12 Thai youth soccer players and their coach are safely rescued and transported to a local hospital. Let's make it feel a little bit like a cave for this one. Let's put on some reverb and some water sounds to set the stage. That's better. On June 23rd, 2018, Ekapol Chantawong, who was 25 years old, and his players, who ranged in age from 11 to 16, set out to explore the Tham Luang Cave Network in what was intended to be a fun, hour-long after-practice adventure when they were trapped underground as monsoon rains flooded the cave's entrance. A search for the team and their coach took 9 days when 2 elite British divers located the group on July 2nd, 2018, around 2.5 miles from the cave's entrance. They were alive but malnourished, malnutridos, exhausted and running out of oxygen, and the dangerous, tight and twisting passageways, caminos, with strong currents meant that the situation was a logistical nightmare. On July 10th, the first 4 boys were led, fueron guiados, out of the cave by an international team of cave diving experts, including Navy SEALs. On July 9th, 4 more boys were rescued, and finally on July 10th, the remaining 4 boys and the coach were rescued after spending 17 days in the cave. The boys were sedated, fueron sedados, with the drug ketamine during the rescue and wore wetsuits and full face masks to provide oxygen. They were all released from the hospital 1 week later. The event resulted in 1 fatality. A volunteer diver and former Thai Navy SEAL, Saman Kunan, who was aged 38, died on July 6th when he ran out of oxygen underwater while trying to give oxygen tanks to the boys. Here's a clip about the rescue.
Tonight, all 12 young soccer players and their coach are free. They're safe. The whole world watching. and waiting after they were first discovered there. Then, of course, that international crew of divers and engineers plotting to get them out. The last 4 boys and their coach were rescued today. And the 4 Thai Navy SEALs who had stayed with them all that time after first discovering them in the cave, giving a thumbs up. Tonight we have new reporting on this final rescue, the medication given to the boys to keep them from panicking on their way out, and what we've just learned, what happened in that cave right after the boys were rescued. ABC's James Longman leading us off tonight from the scene.
The cave's a labyrinth of twisting tunnels. Rescue workers seen wading in murky water up to their necks. The swim out in near total darkness. And tonight, we're learning all the boys were given medication to keep them from panicking. At times, the passageways so narrow, they traveled single file. Teams of 2 divers pairing with each boy, one behind for support, the other in front carrying their oxygen tanks. Then, one by one, we saw convoys moving down the mountain to the helicopters standing by. Volunteers rejoicing at the news. The coach, weaker than all those boys, evacuated.
Just behind me, they are the flashing lights. That is the police escort waiting for the last ambulance.
This rescue faster than the others. This morning we made a promise to get 9 people out, the governor saying, and we did it. These Navy SEAL divers and medic waiting to leave until everyone was safe, giving a thumbs up tonight. They stayed with boys in the cave since they were found over a week ago.
How many of you?
The once unthinkable, now a miraculous reality.
Okay, that's the show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for episode 29 of English with Dane, which will be a review of the movie Yesterday. I think I'm going to enjoy it, but I'll have to wait and see. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iVox, or wherever you're listening to English with Dane. And support the show by leaving a 5-star rating and a review. Share it with friends and family or anyone who you think would enjoy it. Okay, talk soon. Bye-bye.